playing rather defensively, being forced to due to the Dark Templars and Corsairs running around by Violet. And Violet's still just on 2 bases while HoGiL's on 3, so economically speaking, these guys are pretty even, I would say. More hatcheries, of course. With those hatcheries, HoGiL's going to be able to get a much bigger army going. Now his Mule is going up, so he's probably going to try to do some economic harassment. Corsair, they're being lost by Violet there at the main of HoGiL's. 7 air score spinning, so there's going to be some... I think actually those might be weapons upgrades for the Corsairs rather than Dragoon upgrades. We're going to see Dragoon's going to be meeting some Mutalisk there. Mutalisk going to fly back a little bit. And a Dark Templar has... Oh, he managed to sneak a Dark Templar into the main of HoGiL. And the Overlord is too far away. HoGiL, but oh, look at that timing. He instantly spotted that, instantly flew away. Drones instantly being pushed away, and now Mutalisks are going to be able to do, just completely prevent Overlord moving into position. Mutalisk and Hydra in position to prevent this Dark Temple from doing any sort of damage. Still Shuttle running around, and the Lurkers also in some expansion positions to try to prevent expansions that Violet might be trying to put down. We're going to see actually where Violet actually goes for a storm drop of some sort, actually just going out right now with a rather large army, a lot of Dragoons, alongside some Zealots and some High Templar. That army could actually do a lot of damage, especially with those Dragoons there. Mutalisks are not going to be able to hold them back too well. Dragoons, of course, don't do full damage to Mutalisks, but with a large number of them, it can still do a pretty good job. Observers out in the field going to be able to allow those Lurkers to be taken out and expansion people. So Violet is actually going to expand at the lower left, going to take his 3rd base. HoGiL, I think, has to respond by either trying to harass it as well as it can, trying to prevent it from happening, which is actually a rather long distance for him to do. Actually going to start attacking the Nexus. Oh! Forces the cancel. Forces Violet just... clutch. Mutal flying there. Forces the cancel. This is, of course, what I love about Heartbreak Ridge. Takes out the probe now. We're going to see what it tries to force the cancel again. Storm completely missing the Mutalisks. The Mutalisks now going to fly away. Going to start attacking some more. Trying to picking off 2 High Templar. HoGiL doing a great job overall with this Mutalisks and has a lot of ground forces. Armor, weapons 1 upgrades. I think the armor is also upgraded to 1. Can't right see the video quality, not perfect. Noodle still flying around, actually trying to take out a pylon there. Actually might be able to take out a pylon that's powering 3 gateways, I believe. Actually, no, there's another pylon there, but at least I think 1 gateway. No, I think 1 gateway is unpowered at this point. I'm not quite sure. Actually, those gateways still might be powered. Violet now finally establishing the lower left. Little Mutalisk flying around at the gateways, just picking off High Templar as they come out. Oh, that is a horrible waste of gas there by Violet. That is a horrible waste of gas. Cannon's not even close to being in position, and Dark Templar just being picked off. Zealots also in a lot of danger. Another High Templar being picked off, and Storm completely off target. Wow, this is wonderful harassment. Mutalisk play by HoGiL here, just doing a wonderful job of keeping Violet completely off his toes. Violet's no idea, really, just trying to move out, trying to do something, but being just prevented. All those High Templar velocities, he's going to need all those High Templar against the ground army that is now being fielded by HoGiL. 1 Corsair going to run out, get the scout, but it's going to get killed. Going to spot there's a rather large Lurker Hydra army on the force. Not a rival for the army that Violet has, I believe, but still with this Mutalisk in the air, they're definitely a wonderful support. We're going to see Mutalisks, okay, not now in position to pick off any more High Templar as they come out of the bases. I believe at this point HoGiL is actually expanded. Not quite sure by the minimap where that is exactly. I saw he put down another hatch. I'm not quite sure where that is. Still a lot of Lurkers down on the field, just burying themselves at high ground, just near the middle. So HoGiL, right at this moment, just playing a positioning game, flying around those Mutalisks, trying to spot some random units that they can take out, trying to do some damage. Burrowing Lurkers at very nice distances from each other so that Storm are not very effective. So Storm would pretty much hit only 1 Lurker at a time. Mutalisk again flying around, going to spot some Zealots there, going to take a couple of pot shots at them. Got to take a couple of Cannon kits. Oh my god, what am I talking about? Cannon hits, but not really did too much damage so far. Still a lot of Zerglings down on the ground. Not quite sure if... I don't think High Tech is ready. Storm goes off, doesn't really hit too much. So yeah, the base has been put down there at the 11 o'clock to 11 11 to 12 o'clock position, 11 and a half, you could say, at the upper north. And actually, HoGiL is going to go for an attack there at the base at the lower left. Has a lot of Zerglings, and Mutalisk all flying in, taking out all the cannons, and now this base is very much in jeopardy. Violet, though, has troops coming in just at the right time. A lot of probes have been taken out. The entire defensive installment of that base has been taken out. All the probes dead, except for one. One probe manages to stay alive. Not too much loss there by HoGiL. Lost maybe a Mutalisk or two, 3 at best, and lost all his Zerglings, but not too much else. Didn't manage to attack the Nexus because reinforcements coming in just the amount of right time. Now Violet trying to do the same thing, trying to take out a hatchery. Does a lot of damage to it, but reinforcements coming in time to take it out. Of course, that's what I find one of the risks about this map, is that a lot of players I find, like, let's say like this, at the player, HoGiL in this case, at the 3 o'clock base, will take the base at the 12 o'clock to the left, closer to his enemy, rather than the base at the lower side, which is actually a little bit closer to his base, simply because the resupply route is simpler. The resupply route is simpler to the upper base. There's a clearer path that he can send his forces to resupply and reinforce. I'm not quite sure if HoGiL has Hive Tech at this point or not. I think if he would have had some Nidus canals ready for that 11 o'clock base. And you can see now a little bit down there, the first person view of Violet is putting a huge positioning of cannons and pylons, I believe, at that lower right, at the southern position. Gonna try to counter some Mutalisk, trying to go in. A storm that barely hits, doesn't really do too much damage. Forces also getting some shots of those Mutalisk, not being too successful there. But I think there's a huge defensive installment being put down there at the southern position. HoGiL going for Greater Spires. He's gonna go for Guardians. We're gonna see whether he actually goes for the Cauldron of Chaos here. He goes for some Ultras alongside. Now Mutalisk attacking. Far too many cannons really to do anything. So Violet is going all out, putting down as many cannons as he can afford to try to take that expansion, because at this point, Violet, with this new expansion, is actually going to be economically ahead. He now has 4 bases to HoGil's 4, and he's still mining at his main, so that's very good. Nidus canals now are out, so Hive Tech is ready, and now another base being put down the upper left. This is a very risky base to really take down and hold, because it is going to, you are going to find it being under enemy fire and under a risk, especially if your opponent manages to go to the north and penetrate the base that's currently at the 11 to 12 o'clock and move to the left. He's going to be able to take both of those bases out. Still large ground armies of both forces, and apparently HoGiL thinking of going for a drop. He's He's grouping a lot of overlords together. Yeah, a lot of overlords being grouped together. Zerglings going in, lurkers going in, speed ready to go. But now we're just going to see what he drops on. There are defensive installments everywhere. The entire probe line has cannons. Guardians are now on the way as well. Again, the first person view of Violet. He's going to get a 5th base, and really I feel HoGiL has to take some of the expansion out. He's actually going to go for main. A lot of overlords flying in. One storm going off, hitting those overlords on the fly. Not really taking out too much. Lurkers going to go in everywhere in Zerglings. I don't think the drop was actually too successful. Some Lurkers going in far away from the cannon line. I think as soon as HoGiL spotted all those cannons, he decided, you know what? No, I don't think this was a very good idea. Some Guardians moving in there far away from the Dragoons. I think they mostly outrange these Dragoons, and we're going to see, of course, Guardians outrange cannons, but he has to be still very careful. There's an Archon in position, has to stay away from that, also has to stay away from possible storms that could be coming his way. Guardians, of course, with a slow-moving speed, aren't very good against that. Stargate still producing. More cannons being put down. There's actually also robotic support, so we might be seeing some Reavers alongside to support. And a Dark Archon actually being made. So finally we're going to be able to see some feedbacks, some maelstroms, maybe even a mind control. You know, what's so bad about mind controlling a Defiler or a fully upgraded Ultralisk, I'm sorry. That can't be a bad idea. Still Guardians firing out, just outraging those cannons, trying to put on some siege fire. And Dragoons, however, are going to move in position. Those Guardians in a lot of danger. HoGiL not paying attention, losing a few Guardians needlessly, really. Adding an Ultralisk camera now, so he is indeed going for a weird mesh of an Cauldron of Chaos. I'm sorry if I'm borrowing stuff from Nuke, but the guy sometimes makes up some pretty damn cool names. HoGiL, both players now playing 5-on-5, and I honestly feel, despite the fact that I think that the mining for Violet is actually gonna run out sooner. I think HoGiL still on 5 base against 5 base against the Pro is just gonna get completely massacred because the huge army that Violet's gonna be able to build up, which he already is pretty much on the way so far to do, is gonna be able to completely massacre whatever it is that HoGiL makes. HoGiL again apparently going, yes, is going to go for the drop on the low right, knows he has to do some damage, knows how to take this base out, going to get stormed. Defilers in play though. Oh, look at those swarms. Dark swarms, the entire location. The Cracklings coming in to try to support, but they're not in position really to do that. But I think this is actually going to be a successful drop. There are Archons though in position to help defend. I'm not even sure if the Cracklings, no damage to the Nexus so far, just checking out Cannon so far. Also Lurk, oh, with those Reavers in position. This is going to be completely petered out. Of course, with those Reavers doing their splash damage, those Cracklings are going to get taken out. Probably not going to be able to do too much. Cannons being replaced. Some random Corsairs running around trying to take out some of those Overlords that were dropping. One Corsair might actually be in danger. I think actually a redrop going to come in right now while the position is weak. Some Corsairs going to spot this. Overlords are going to go in again, probably with Defilers again. He's going to need those Dark Swarms. Going to be able to need to take out those High Templars and Reavers right away. Reaver in position, doing so much damage. Kraken is going to go in. Reaver actually is going to go down. High Templars are actually being surrounded and also being killed. I don't see any Dark Swarms, so just Kraken trying to protect the Nexus.